Hey everyone, coming at you again with another part of the series. Today we're going to talk about more fire starting sources and sources of light and heat and things like that. So I had previously talked about the homemade tinder pack and the fire starting kit, which is extremely useful and very cost efficient, very cheap to make. That's a great alternative. Again, I carry multiple of these in my personal kit. But here are some other options. So you've got your field cooking stove, your Espit stove, for when you're camping and hiking and doing things like that. The dry fuel tabs obviously are great fire starters, even though they smell pretty terrible. Are great fire starting material to make a fire, but also heat your food obviously with the stove in tandem. So that's one option. Another option, apart from the tinder pack and getting dry brush and everything, for starting the fire, a magnesium fire starter. So what you do is you shave off a portion of magnesium here, and there's a striking side on the other side here to create spark with the striker that comes with it. And that's a good way to get the catalyst for a fire started with the tinder that you're using. Also good to have are just a couple of small candles. If you can get one lit, that's going to aid in a variety of uses apart from having a light source and a mild heat source, because these candles are not very big. But having some of these is actually very useful, and you can use it to start further fires and also just have an additional light source as you need it. The other option here, another option is going to be a handheld magnifying glass or refracting lens that you can use to direct, and it has to be during daylight for the most part, to direct a focal beam of light onto a tinder pack or a fuel tab or whatever to get a fire started. It's very useful for an emergency tool that isn't expendable. You're not wasting anything or losing anything by using that, compared to the wearing down of a magnesium starter when wax dies out, using up of fuel tabs and things like that. That's a near infinite resource as long as you don't lose it or severely break it in any way. Okay, so these are just some alternatives and other options secondarily that you should have in an emergency kit, in your pack when you're hiking or camping, whatever it may be. So these are just some items to consider keeping with you as well, apart from having a lighter or whatever else it is for your primary fire starting tools and needs. Have some of these options. These little candles don't take up a lot of space, and you can carry a bunch of them, and they can come in very useful. Obviously your heating sources for food and things like that, and then these alternatives for fire starting that I highly recommend that you keep in your kit as secondary in a variety of situations. Extremely useful. Once you have a fire going, you should probably keep it going unless you're in some kind of sear and evasion scenario. Going to be fairly uncommon though if you're, for the most part, as a person just kind of going into the backcountry. So have these as alternatives. Highly recommended, extremely useful, and yeah, there you go. Plan ahead, folks.